tonight. The latest regarding cuts to the Daily Evergreen.
And an Idaho football player pleads not guilty to alcohol and drug charges.
Murrow News 8. And we'll give you an update of what was said in the State of the Union address last night. Murrow News 8 starts right now.
From Studio B on the campus of Washington State University, this is Pullman's only nightly newscast. This is Murrow News 8.
Good evening. I'm Daryl Bivens.
And I'm Dax McCoy. Welcome to Murrow News 8.
The committee that runs student media met this afternoon to discuss changes to the Daily Evergreen for this semester and into the future. Alex Scully joins us from the Evergreen to explain the importance in this meeting and how the things might change.
Thanks, Daryl. Student media runs at a deficit, which means that the Daily Evergreen may be threatened to make changes to their publication. The paper has already cut their travel expenses, stopped delivering to Moscow, and stopped their summer print. But at today's meeting, they discussed adding in a $5 student fee for publication, as well as going from a weekly to a bi-weekly publication. They are hoping that these potential changes will stop the bleeding of the budget deficit.
Now, what exactly led to the Daily Evergreen's budget problems, Alec?
It boils down to shortages in the advertising revenue. Other colleges have contributed to the Evergreen's advertising budget in the past, but that funding has stopped. Reporting from the Daily Evergreen, I'm Alex Scully.
While the Daily Evergreen is facing cuts, all WSU faculty received a salary increase. This is the first of two 1% salary increases that WSU staff and faculty will see added to their paychecks this year. The further increasing of staff and faculty salaries exists as part of WSU President Kirk Schultz's Drive to 25 plan. Associated Students of Washington State University, or ASWSU, senators voted on many policies, including this year's policy concerning the Daily Evergreen. Voting last week resulted in the filling of 3 Senate seats, a business colleges seat, an arts and sciences seat, and an uncertified colleges seat. The College of Education seat remains empty because no one ran for the position. Whitman County Sheriff's deputies arrested a 58-year-old Pullman woman on prostitution charges over the weekend. Deputies arranged with a date with Rebecca Vallejo after finding her listing on Backpage.com, a classifieds website. The deputies cited Vallejo for misdemeanor, then released her.
Cassia County Sheriff's Office found a white Nissan pickup truck believed to be linked to an attempted bombing that occurred earlier in Burley, Idaho, Monday afternoon. Police found the vehicle but did not make any arrests. Nobody knows if the driver will be investigated as a witness or as a suspect in the crime. A University of Idaho football player pled not guilty Monday to a DUI and possession of drug paraphernalia charges. Latah County Sheriff's deputies arrested Jonte Boston, a redshirt sophomore wide receiver from Jacksonville, Florida, Sunday morning on Jackson Street in Moscow. According to reports, Boston registered a blood alcohol level over twice the legal limit.
Other news in the region involves climate change and what might happen if negative actions continue to be ignored. I attended a panel to learn more about proposed solutions to the debate and what can be done.
Climate change's complexities sometimes go unnoticed by the public. To solve this and help educate the public, a panel of experts on the subject gathered for a town hall at the Lewiston Public Library.
Change will impact countries differently. So while we usually talk about that climate change is negative, and it has globally a negative impact, some, however, will profit from it.
Dr. Hoffman refers to the global effort to reduce climate change as a difficult issue, even if every country and person agreed that climate change needs to be addressed.
Why should I do all the research in the library? Why should I do all the writing and you're gonna get the A? Because the benefits, and this is what the problem is, the benefits are diffuse. The benefits are for everyone, but the costs are more concentrated.
But not everyone came to the event agreeing with the scientific consensus. Dr. Richard Eggleston challenged the panel during the Q&A section with facts of his own.
Well, I think they're very biased in their opinion because if they don't have a position that agrees with funders, they don't have any funds to do their job.
Dr. Nancy Johnston disagrees with the claims made by some observers that scientists must think alike and that they practice corruption.
Scientists pursue truth, and they just want to know actual facts and get that out there.
The meeting ended with a game Dr. Hoffman uses as an analogy to explain the difficulties of the global effort on climate change. A game of prisoner's dilemma. The game ultimately ends with two partners assuming the benefits of doing nothing outweigh the benefits of acting. Dax McCoy, Murrow News 8.
After partnering with the WSU College of Nursing Spokane last Friday, the WSU Veterinary College helped provide aid to 100 people, 125 pets at the new medical clinic on the Spokane campus during the Healthy People Plus Healthy Pets event. Patients received vaccinations, health screenings, and other basic treatments.
Amazon opened its latest construction project to the public in Seattle's South Lake Union neighborhood. The Biosphere office space hybrid, called the Spheres, encompasses over 40,000 plants and took over 6 years to design, build, and plant.
The building is alive every day. In the summer, it's a little bit more dramatic. When the sun comes in, we can physically see the building move over the course of the day.
If you'd like to see the Spheres, you will need to take an official tour of Amazon's headquarters.
When we come back, we revisit what President Trump said at the State of the Union.
And some House representatives need to recover from a train crash following the address.
We'll be right back.
Listen now, can you hear the bluebirds? Oh, look up now, can you feel the sun? Whoa, 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 can you feel the sun?
President Donald Trump stressed the message of America's first in his State of the Union speech. The address focused primarily on domestic policy and touting the accomplishments of his first year in office. He mentioned tax cuts, the economy, trade, regulatory reform, and immigration, but also focused on making himself appear as the anti-Barack Obama. Trump called for bipartisanship on the issue of rebuilding the country's infrastructure, but House Minority Leader Nancy Pelosi's reaction speaks for itself. The 80-minute speech concluded with Trump crediting the people for making America great again. An Amtrak train carrying dozens of Republican Congress members and their families crashed earlier this morning after hitting a dump truck. The crash occurred in Crowshead, Virginia, just outside the town of Charlottesville. President Trump confirmed that the driver of the truck was killed and that 6 other people were injured. Several legislators with medical training performed CPR on the victims. The rest of the legislators were transported to their retreat in West Virginia by bus. The National Transportation Safety Board continues investigating the crash.
FEMA announced they will halt food and water shipments to Puerto Rico. FEMA claims that Puerto Rico's emergency operation represents the most costly in the agency's history, adding up to more than $1.6 billion worth of food and more than $360 billion worth of water. Shipments of food and water officially stop Wednesday.
The weather continues to be warmer than Pullman's average winter temperatures.
Doug Taylor joins us after the break with our 5-day forecast.
Wake the sun, tell him that I've begun to dream of things to come, and tell the trees look for me. I'm going to find some peace of mind. Wake the sun, wake the sun, wake the sun, wake the sun.
The weather seems a bit warmer than this time last year.
It sure does. I can actually get somewhere without slipping. Hey Doug, any chance we can hold off on the snow for a few more days?
Yeah, Dax, it seems like we are going to hold off with the snow. We may see a little bit tomorrow, but nothing accumulating. We'll get into that as we go along here. Good Wednesday evening to you. Right now, conditions about 34 degrees. The high temperature today, 41, just a little above average. On Monday, we nearly challenged the record high. Today's record high, 58 degrees, set in 1971. We weren't anywhere near it today. Humidity, 72%, winds 12 out of the southwest. Looking at the east side of Washington here, see Wenatchee and Yakima, both sunny. Yakima nearing 50 degrees today. Again, Pullman 41, Spokane way over here on the east side of the state, 43, cloudy. Kind of a nice day, a little bit of a mixed bag for everybody in eastern Washington. Whereas if you look at the west side, you see Seattle, Olympia, and Vancouver, cloudy, rainy, wet, kind of fairly typical weather for this time of year. So to the tomorrow forecast here in Pullman, cloudy and cool. You might have to scrape your windshield tomorrow morning, 31. By the time we get to the afternoon, we could see a rain-snow mix depending on when the moisture comes in. Then we have more moisture and clouds on the way in the evening. Get to the 5-day outlook here. Take a look around. We're going to see a lot of wind, a lot of rain coming around. But you notice the temperatures climbing. By Tuesday, we could be challenging records again, nearing almost 60 degrees with a west-southwesterly flow of moisture, wind from the tropical areas, the Hawaiian Islands and such. So right now, we're looking warmer. Looking out a little further, though, winter may not be done yet. We'll let you know as we get closer. Guys?
When we come back, we'll tell you about about where you might find an atypical cougar in Pullman.
No more pencils, no more books.
No more teachers' dirty looks.
School's out for summer.
School's out forever.
School's out with fever.
School's out completely.
What this place needed was better graduation rates. So we worked with schools like Henry Ford High, and now they're up 18%. And it can happen in every place.
School's out for summer.
To help us do more good this year, go to unitedway.org, because great things happen when we live united.
The actual cougar prowling Military Hill remains on the loose, but law enforcement and wildlife agencies stepped up their efforts Tuesday to find the cat. Well, Washington State Fish and Wildlife agents even went so far as to install trail cameras to try and spot the cougar. A possible sighting on Bella Vista Drive Tuesday night went unconfirmed, but would be the fourth in just 8 days. Dude, there's a cougar out there. That's really insane.
Yeah, I mean, you know, somebody told me that they thought that it might be Tyler Helinski letting us all know that he's still with us.
In any case, this is a reason why the cougar is the mascot of this area here. They're native to the area, so we're kind of visiting their native habitat, so we do well to steer clear and look out for them when we can. So,
but the police definitely said to stay strong.
All right. Well, thank you all very much for watching. Join us every weeknight at 7 and 10 p.m. for Pullman's only nightly newscast.
Have a great night, and don't forget to follow Murrow News 8 on Facebook and Twitter.